Well, this week, the government finally represented the people when it just completely shut down. Honestly, didn't it feel like the government kind of needed a break? Just so we could all catch our breath? Can you believe we're only 9 months into this presidency? That means we still have 3 months and 7 years remaining. I already tried fighting. I'm tired. I went to so many protests this summer. But honestly, it was worth it because we finally got them to change the Cracker Barrel logo back to the original, featuring my actual grandpa.
Colin Jost did more than merely make fun of Donald Trump. He burned him with serene accuracy of a man who witnessed insanity pass for leadership for years. His destruction was surgical rather than angry. It was a kind of roast that leaves a blazing crater of truth behind in addition to burning the subject. Jost didn't make a reckless swing. He destroyed Trump with the patience of someone who understands that the funniest joke of all is reality, presented correctly.
From now on, our fighting men, and I guess women, are going to adhere to the highest male standard, which has been set by our president, Donald J. Trump. 6'6", $175, A-cups, perky. With a dump truck in the back, you wouldn't even believe.
Please click the bell symbol and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. It's been stated that Trump's presidency resembles an unintentionally elected SNL parody. There is a new episode every morning that no one remembers consenting to shoot. He made fun of Trump's daily schedule, saying it was the only calendar in Washington that was solely composed of congratulatory remarks and miscommunications. Jost depicted a leader who watched himself on TV in the morning, tweeted at 4 a.m., and declared it foreign policy. He made a joke about how the country wakes up every day like a roommate who has just had another little ego meltdown.
I know it's scary for a lot of people right now, but I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm trying to remember the words of a great man.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
The last time the U.S. government shut down was during President Trump's first administration in 2018, which was so long ago, we look like this.
Since Colin's humor is grounded in reality, it cuts deeper. He emphasized how Trump transformed governance into a performance art exercise in which policy was replaced by applause. The president handles news conferences more like open mic nights, focusing more on maintaining the limelight than providing information. Jost joked that under Trump, facts were viewed as mystical beings and were scarcely seen, much like endangered species. He thought that confidence above competence appeared to be the administration's mantra, and the outcomes resembled the tagline, "Sounds absolutely."
Insiders are saying that President Trump is trying to create tension between his potential successors, Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, mostly by pointing at them and saying, "Kiss."
President Trump announced plans for a 100% tariff on movies made outside the U.S., which is no problem for me because all the movies I watched were filmed in a Florida condo on a leather couch.
Then simply targeted Trump's financial genius, his favorite illusion. Because Donald Trump is the only one who can sell bankruptcy like it's brilliance. Colin likened his financial record to a Jenga game in which investor confidence was the label for each missing block. The man who referred to himself as a dealmaker was able to transform diplomacy into reality TV and allies into enemies. Jost joked that even in hypothetical economics, the dice would file a restraining order, meaning that Trump could likely bankrupt monopoly if given the opportunity.
Israel and Hamas have tentatively agreed to President Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza, and you could tell Trump wrote the plan himself.
A Trump advisor said ICE agents will attend the Super Bowl after Bad Bunny was announced as the halftime performer. You know, to catch all those farm workers who can afford Super Bowl tickets.
Trump's fixation on his appearance turned into a playground. He mocked the notion of a president who devotes more time to lighting adjustments than to policymaking. Every photo opportunity is an occasion. Every move was practiced like a man trying out for the position of the most photographed leader in history. Trump's public appearances have been characterized by Jost as emotional costume changes. Same script, different tone. Every smile seems practiced. Every gesture was exaggerated, as if the presidency were an ongoing program that would never end.
Traveled to the Middle East this week, and if I were him, I would have just stayed there because it looked awesome. Trump arrived in Saudi Arabia, where he was greeted with a lavender carpet which matched the color of his tie and also the length. They also rolled out a mobile McDonald's truck for President Trump's visit, featuring Saudi Arabia's most popular new burger, the McJournalist.
Then came the chaos in foreign policy. Joss did some painting. Trump's approach to diplomacy is a mix of spontaneity and overconfidence. The type you would anticipate from someone who thinks geography is merely a matter of opinion. Trump believes he is the sole performer at every summit, which appears to be a talent show. Simply put, his discussions are like bad first dates. There is too much boasting, not enough listening, and an unavoidable commitment that everyone eventually regrets. He somehow made world peace sound like a plumbing issue in a real estate listing. The most painful part of Joe's roast was when he discussed Trump's connection. With honesty, every correction is a betrayal, and every claim is an invention. Trump claimed that the energy used by the White House to deny apparent reality could power a whole city. America would have won a record number of medals if lying became an Olympic sport.
Well, America elected Donald Trump to run the country like a business, but it turns out he's running it like one of his businesses. I love that you can intentionally ruin the economy and still get to stay president. It's like if you drunk drove your car through the window of the DMV and they were like, license renewed. It's insane. This was the worst week for the stock market since the summer of 2020. But you have to remember, back then, the president was also Trump.
The economy followed. Trump's preferred trophy is polished every day and put on display. Even when it cracks, it does so with pride. The way the president views financial achievement as a personal legacy made Joss giggle. Not anything constructed, but something he found. He takes credit when job numbers increase. When inflation increases, someone else is to blame. Colin likened handling grenades to Trump's financial approach. When it succeeds, it is impressive. When it fails, it is disastrous. Reminding viewers that Wall Street doesn't pay rent in the real world. He made fun of Trump's propensity to mix up the stock market with the actual economy. Joss then turned his attention to Trump's crisis management. Each one was handled more like a public relations challenge than a serious national emergency. When everyone was searching for a leader, Trump searched for ratings. Colin depicted a president who handles calamities similarly to how a magician performs tricks. The message is repetitious, the energy is frantic, and the mood leans more toward cult revival than politics.
The Democratic National Committee protested President Trump's plans to accept a $400 million luxury jet from Qatar by flying a banner over Mar-a-Lago reading Qatar-a-Lago. It's the kind of hilarious stunt that makes you realize why the Democrats will never win again. Ethical experts are also warning that Trump may owe political favors to countries who give him lavish gifts. But based on the way he left the Middle East, I think I know how Trump is going to pay them back.
Josh made a joke about how it's like seeing a hype man sell when Trump works a crowd. Animosity toward a group of people that are trying to fit in. The identical episode is repeated at each rally, with the exception that it is louder, lasts longer, and is a little more unrealistic. Next, Joss broke Trump's fixation with Twitter. He said that no one in history had ever used a phone with such widespread effects. The head of the free world uses social media as a diary, posting self-congratulations, complaints, and existential musings late at night. Imagine world leaders anxiously checking their phones every morning to see if they have been elevated to enemy status overnight. He referred to this leadership approach as governance via hashtags, in which fury is the norm and mistakes turn into news stories. Joss didn't ignore how Trump has treated the media. Trump wants continuous coverage more than quality coverage. According to Joss, the man hates criticism yet needs it to survive, treating it like oxygen. Every headline is either a vendetta or a victory lap.
President Trump even imposed tariffs on remote islands that are only inhabited by penguins. Well, then maybe penguins shouldn't keep pushing their gay agenda. This week, President Trump met with Kid Rock for what appears to be Drag Queen Story Hour. Kid Rock watched Trump sign an executive order on concert ticket fees and then returned to his regular job as a 4th of July lawn skeleton.
The pandemonium in the cabinet followed. Colin criticized the advisors' revolving door and bureaucrats who appear and disappear like extras in a high-budget film. He called the Trump administration's White House an HR nightmare, where survival depended on accurately predicting the mood and devotion equates to quiet. Every resignation feels like a public exorcism, and every firing feels personal. Joss made a joke about how nobody survives for very long since they can't serve both Trump's ego and the Constitution. Joss then made fun of Trump's communication abilities, or rather, his lack of them. He compared listening to Trump to trying to decipher a fortune cookie that was created by a malfunctioning algorithm. Sentences start in one place and go in several directions. Colin then addressed the misconception about Trump's harshness. The self-described powerful, when a man boasts of his supremacy, he folds at the first sign of derision. Joss chuckled at the idea that one late-night remark might set off a political firestorm. Comedians cause the man who says he is unbreakable to erupt like a volcano to static electricity. He seems to define strength as never acknowledging weakness, even when it is overwhelming him. Reflection is necessary for true resilience, but Trump avoids it like taxes unless it serves his interests.
Guys, it happened. Last night, President Trump posted an AI-generated image of himself as the Pope, apparently ordering a one-way ticket to hell. Who posts a photo of themselves dressed like a guy who died a week ago? Trump was at the Pope's funeral. That means he walked past an open casket and was like, oh, we should do a who wore it best.
Then there is the legal drama around Trump, a growing universe of inquiries, legal actions, and denials. Colin referred to it as the longest-running courtroom special in America. Every controversy has a similar pattern. Repeat, deflect, deny, and divert. Taxpayers pay for the tickets, but it's still performance art. Josh made a joke about how Trump views court cases as chances to promote his business. Another opportunity to claim victim status. Naturally, the irony is that he is the only man capable of turning indictments into advertisements. Colin also criticized Trump's environmental policy, or his continuous conflict with science, as he put it. Under Trump, climate change wasn't a serious problem. Being rebranded was inconvenient. The name of progress led to the destruction of regulations. As Nature, we made fun of his conviction that environmentalism was a plot to annoy billionaires while stealthily taking notes. The individual who made the promise of togetherness was able to incite civil war out of disagreement. Colin made fun of the way Trump gauges allegiance based on personal devotion rather than national service. Under his leadership, patriotism shifted from principles to loud acclaim. Just put it in the best possible way. He is unique among presidents in that he views democracy as a fan club.
This week, Donald Trump continued to announce everyone he's going to fire in 6 months. Trump nominated Kristi Noem to lead the Department of Homeland Security, Lee Zeldin to head the EPA, and Elise Stefanik as ambassador to the UN. And then someone yelled, "Now do a silly one." On Wednesday, Trump nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, and Gaetz said the same thing he does when he sees a teenage girl: "I'll do it."
Next comes Trump's incessant fixation on the past. Colin made a joke about Trump being the first president who is more concerned with creating history than with branding it. Every occasion turns into a photo opportunity. Every error is a plot by the media. The man speaks of brilliance as if it were a brand rather than a quality. Joss said that Trump would undoubtedly leave a legacy, just not the one he had in mind, due to his obsession with it. He claimed that historians would record his time period as a case study rather than an accomplishment. Every meeting concludes with uncertainty about who prevailed, and every handshake picture appears to be a hostage negotiation. Just stated, the State Department turned into an improv comedy branch under Trump. Joss then presented the chapter with scathing irony, which focused on Trump's epidemic mismanagement. Science was not required. Hope was renamed as spin, and expertise was hushed. Collins claimed that Trump offered confidence rather than a plan in response to a global health crisis, treating it like a rating fall. The man who insisted that everything was in control appeared to be constantly shocked when reality deviated from his plan. Josh quipped that his response to the epidemic would be included in future textbooks as a list of things not to do when in control.
Really, like if the week Queen Elizabeth died, I posted this. I don't know, I just feel like as a Catholic, Trump's photo just feels slightly disrespectful. Also, if Trump really wants to be Pope, he should probably stay away from J.D. Vance.
President Trump responded to a report showing the U.S. economy was declining by posting, "Be patient, and if his brain gets any worse, he's gonna be patient."
Also made fun of Trump's fixation on loyalty tests. Each ally each. Every friend of the staffer must swear eternal allegiance or risk being banished from society. Colin contrasted competing on a survival program, where the only rule is to never outshine the host, to working for Trump. The White House turned into a soap show with dramatic exits and betrayals. Each letter of resignation may serve as a memoir with the title, "I Tried to Explain Logic." Collins made fun of Trump's populist initiatives. The millionaire who says he knows the working class has never encountered one without a group of people. Joss portrayed him as a man who believes that understanding starts on the golf course and that empathy can be bought. His bond with regular Americans seems as real as his tan line. Trump's portrayal as a man of the people is like referring to a yacht as a lifeboat, the speaker remarked. Joss characterized Trump's moral compass as being whirled in a whirlpool of self-interest. The conceptions of right and wrong are negotiable. Joss's humor peaked when he talked about Trump's self-congratulations. The dude doesn't only brag. Like a motivational speaker who has forgotten the lesson of the tale, he recounts his own mythology. Every accomplishment is overstated. Everyone else is to blame for every failure. He is a living autobiography that edits itself in real time, according to Colin.
President Trump tried to rescue the economy from the disastrous policies of whoever was president last week. On Wednesday, Trump announced he was pausing most tariffs for 90 days. Now, 90 days may not seem like a long time, but remember, Trump has only been president for 82 days, and it already feels like a goddamn decade.
The only reason Trump's confidence is unshakable is it has an allergy to proof. The main reason the man has never lost an argument is that he never pays attention long enough to hear the opposing viewpoint. The cultural fallout followed. Not only did Trump's presidency split politics, but it also split reasoning. Under Trump, America feels like a group project where one person claims they did all the work and everyone else is wrong. The statement reads, "Outrage became currency, truth became negotiable, and facts became tribal." Colin noted that the fact that Trump altered America isn't the most frightening aspect. He persuaded millions of people that it was typical. He arrived with the intention of draining the swamp, but instead he increased the pool membership. Joss did more than just use jokes to discredit Trump. He revealed the act for what it is, a looping ego demanding praise for erecting bonfires in places where policies belong. Joss's laughter also goes beyond any headline, as current President Trump continues his show of self-celebration. Because it is not necessary for satire to shout. It only supports a mirror, allowing the reflection to accompany.